I'm a big fan of Gamescom, and I've been following the event closely. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough money to buy a ticket this time, but there is so much happening. New games are being announced, new projects are being revealed, and the current console generation is getting some serious attention. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, these are the 9th generation of consoles. And another game has now joined that generation, Mudrunner. Yes, Mudrunner. Saber Interactive and Focus Entertainment have officially brought Mudrunner to the PlayStation Store for PlayStation 5 and to Xbox Series consoles. And this is important because we're not talking about backward compatibility. This isn't simply the old PlayStation 4 version running on a newer console. This is a native current generation version, a proper PS5 and Xbox Series release. And the improvements are exactly what you'd expect from a modern console version. Better optimization, up to 60 frames per second, and support for 4K resolution. That's a pretty big upgrade for a game that originally launched back in 2017. Think about that. Mudrunner came out nearly a decade ago. And now, it's getting a new life on the latest generation of consoles. That's actually pretty impressive, and this is the second interesting console announcement we've seen from Saber Interactive recently. Because Saber is clearly continuing to push its simulation games onto modern consoles. And I think there's a strategy behind this. They're building a stronger presence on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. They're getting their games into the hands of console players. They're showing that their simulation titles can work on modern hardware, and that matters. Especially with another major simulation developer preparing to enter the same market, SCS Software. Now, before anyone gets the wrong idea, I'm not saying Mudrunner is going to compete directly with Euro Truck Simulator 2 or American Truck Simulator. It isn't the same type of simulation. Mudrunner is focused on off-road driving, heavy vehicles, mud, deep water, difficult terrain, slow and careful driving. ETS2 and ATS are completely different. They're focused on long-distance trucking, European and American road networks, cargo, companies, economies, cities, highways, and massive map expansions. So, these games aren't really direct replacements for each other, but they're still competing for something very important. The attention of simulation players, and that's where things become interesting. Saber has a number of simulation games, Mudrunner, SnowRunner, and now Road Kings is coming, and Road Kings is much closer to the world of traditional trucking. It's targeting PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS, so Saber is clearly interested in this market, and now they're also making sure their older games are ready for modern consoles. That's smart, because when ETS2 and ATS finally arrive on PlayStation and Xbox, Saber will already have an established presence. Their games will already be there, their audience will already be there, and players will already know the Saber brand again. I'm not saying Saber is deliberately trying to block SCS. That's not what I'm suggesting. But from a business perspective, it's smart to establish yourself in a market before another major competitor arrives. And console simulation is about to become much more interesting for years. ETS2 and ATS have been incredibly popular on PC, but console players have been waiting. They've been asking for these games for years, and now SCS is finally bringing them over at the same time. Saber is pushing its own simulation portfolio forward, and then Road Kings is coming in March 2027. That means the console trucking market could look completely different over the next year. Imagine being a PlayStation 5 player and having all these options: Mudrunner, SnowRunner, Road Kings, Euro Truck Simulator 2, American Truck Simulator, different games, different experiences, but all fighting for your time. And that's actually good for us, because competition forces developers to improve. If Saber pushes its visuals, SCS has more reason to improve its visuals. If Saber improves weather, SCS can look at weather. If SCS introduces new gameplay systems, other developers can respond, everyone benefits. And that's exactly what I want to see: more simulation games, better simulation games. More realistic physics, better graphics, better weather, bigger maps, more vehicles, more gameplay, and more options for console players. Now, let's go back to Mudrunner. The interesting thing about this release is how old the game is, 2017. That's a long time ago in gaming. We've gone through an entire console generation since then, and now Saber is giving the game another chance. a native PS5 version, a native Xbox Series version, better optimization, 60 FPS, 4K. That's a pretty good way to bring an older simulation game into the current generation. And it shows that older games don't necessarily have to disappear. They can be improved, updated, and brought forward. That's good news for players, and I think Saber understands something important. There is still demand for simulation games. People enjoy these experiences for years. They don't necessarily move on after 1 year. They keep playing, they keep buying DLC. They keep exploring new maps, and they keep waiting for better hardware. That's exactly what we've seen with ETS2 and ATS. People have been playing them for a decade, and they're still growing. That's why I'm so excited about what's happening now. We're entering a new period for simulation gaming. SCS is bringing ETS2 and ATS to consoles. Saber is bringing Road Kings. Mudrunner is getting a current generation release. SnowRunner continues to evolve. And new simulation projects are appearing all the time. It's becoming a much bigger market, and that's great. But SCS also needs to move. I'm not saying they should rush the console release. Definitely not. A rushed console version would be worse than waiting, but the longer the wait, the more competition appears. The console market isn't going to sit still. Saber is moving, other developers are moving, players are waiting. And the excitement around console trucking is growing, so SCS needs to make sure it doesn't miss that momentum, because imagine if ETS2 and ATS arrive on console at the right time. With the massive maps, the huge truck selection, the years of DLC, the modding potential, the new gameplay systems, and proper console optimization. That could be enormous. There are thousands of players ready to jump in. And I think SCS knows that. We've seen the wish lists, we've seen the community reactions, we've seen the excitement around the playable console demonstrations now. We just need the final step, the release. In 2017, getting another life on PS5 and Xbox Series. And for simulation fans, this is good news, because it means the console simulation market is getting stronger, more games are coming, more developers are competing, and players have more choices. But SCS, I'm looking at you. You've got two of the biggest truck simulators in the world, ETS2, ATS. The console players are ready, the competition is coming, Road Kings is coming, and the momentum is building. So don't rush it, get it right. But when it's ready, release it. Because I want to see ETS2 and ATS running natively on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. And I know I'm not the only one. Thanks for watching.